Hey everyone, Aaron here, and this is another surprise attack review. And today's surprise attack review is of School Live. Now, I was actually trying this is my third take of this right now. I was actually trying to think of a way to kind of prevent people from figuring out what School Live is initially. But I know half of my subscribers at least, I know half of you guys, know what School Live is or have seen some inklings of it or seen some kind of spoiler-esque concepts of it. But if you have it, and you've seen Higurashi, then you can put two and two together. School Life is very, very reminiscent of Higurashi in that, for example, we have Yuki, one of our main protagonists of the show. She looks like she's all happy. She's walking down a nice, brightly lit hallway, and she looks happy. Look, she's nothing wrong, right? Nothing's going on. This is her background, really. Dilapidated building that has broken windows, looks like it was torn apart by zombies, because in fact it was torn apart by zombies. School Live's main premise is that 4 students are held up in a school trying to survive a zombie apocalypse. And what they do is that they pretend like they're a club in order to kind of keep their sanity. And they think, oh, you know what, we'll call ourselves the School Live Club, or School Live, if you want. In that they live in the school. This is their refuge, this is their safe haven, despite the zombies outside being numerous and despite them having very limited access to a lot of things. And what is really cool about the show is that it does something that Higurashi doesn't do very well, and it's surprising that School Live does it pretty well at times, sometimes falters, and that School Live tries to blend comedy with horror constantly, in the sense that it knows when to play off of its comedy aspects, but then to realize, oh, this is actually happening, this is the real world. And it's done by doing so with Yuki's perspective, where Yuki is the one main protagonist that you see on the main screen, and she has actually made herself think that the world is sane. She made herself think that the school actually has students in it, that everyone is perfectly safe and happy. But on the outset, everything is horrible. Everything's horrifying outside. There's smoke in certain places. There's constant waves of zombies, like I said before. And what's interesting about that is that it allows the show to kind of blend this perfect mix of comedy, where at times they're just goofing around like a regular club would, almost like any other anime with a slice of life concept. That they're playing around, they're having fun, they're doing club events, going out, trying to have normal lives. But meanwhile, anything is but normal when you have all these zombies coming in, trying to wreck the place, trying to eat them for what they are. And it does this very well. I think sometimes School Life sometimes does not do it very well. I mean, in terms of some episodes being more successful than others. I mean, I personally, the first episode when I watched that, I was almost tempted to turn off the actual show because it was really over the top cutesy. But then you start seeing these little hints and tidbits of, maybe something's not right here, when you see a cross or you see a symbolism of a broken window. And then when you finally see, this is the scene from the first episode, when you see this, you realize this show is something much more deeper and darker. And that's one thing that keeps trend of the whole show. You keep seeing this concept show up where the world is at its point just destroyed. There probably are still survivors out there, but the world has gone to hell. It really has. And the show, what it does so well is it has the main characters try to, hey, we want to live normal lives. We have to try, despite the onset of all of this stuff happening to them. Now, what I think Higurashi does better is it makes the horror a little bit stronger. I think School Live sometimes plays around a little bit too much with the comedy aspect and the cuteness. And I know that's what it's trying, I think, to actually shoot for. But at times, it doesn't need it all the time. Like, there's some episodes that I remember that are constant cute overtones and jokey matters when it's almost kind of, and for me at least, because I'm not a huge fan of that type of genre, it's almost unwatchable. But equally, when this show has moments of dark tones and mature themes, I was just aghast with how great it does it. It does it so well that even Higurashi at times, I think, could learn from how this show did its horror elements and how it did its concepts and such. Now, is School Life perfect? No, it's not perfect. It has a lot of issues, like I said. There are times where, again, it doesn't blend the mix of comedy and horror perfectly, but it comes pretty damn close. I mean, I give it credit that, again, the last 4 episodes are the best of the show, I think, personally, but the first several are really good because, you almost feel bad for the character seeing how Yuki sees everything being so jolly and happy and euphoric, while meanwhile there's rotting corpses down the hallway from them, or, they have barricades up to block out stuff. I mean, even the opening, if you actually pay attention to the opening of this, it's almost kind of depressing, where you see them having fun and running around like it's a day of gym class. Meanwhile, you have a barricade or you have a broken window, and that's what the show does so well. That's what I actually really recommend highly about the show, watching it, because it melds those things so well together. That's why if I had to review School Live A through F, I would give it a solid B+. I wanted to give it an A- originally, but I felt that there are too many issues sometimes with the whole cutie overtone. I really think that sometimes it's a little much, and I know again that it's trying to be like that, but I sometimes think that actually might turn some people off. And I really say, this is one of those shows that you have to make sure you watch at least 2 episodes before you say if you want to watch the whole thing or not. Because the first 2 episodes are really going to hammer the fact of, is this show worth watching? Is this show actually worth me investing its time? Because it's not a long show. It's only 12 episodes long. But, it's one of those shows that do have that concept where the first couple episodes are going to tell you, hey, it's worth watching or not. And I'll say, honestly, once I got past the second episode, I knew I was in for the long haul. It looked awesome. And, it's one thing that you really have to watch the show, because it is a really good example of what Higurashi can do if it had done, certain things differently with its concepts. I mean, Higurashi is in its own caliber completely, I think. Higurashi I would rate higher than this in terms of horror aspects. But School Life does a very good job, I think, of trying to show how much you could play with horror at the same time, keep this kind of moe-y, cutesy tone. But also, guys, that's it for this review. I want you guys to also, I'm going to put a link in the video description. Check out this girl named Anime Lover. She's got some great content. I think she does some good work. Definitely check her out. She does all these different videos, does like reviews, does little talks about what her favorite favorite types of manga and stuff are. And she needs more views. I think she needs more views, and hopefully you guys will show the same love you showed me. Okay. So, anyways, guys, that's it for this review. Like I said, please rate, comment, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. And as always, until our paths cross again in the next review, have a good one, everyone. Bye.